Hello and welcome back to Out of Pocket. My name is Ryan, aka Ron, and today we have another smooth support.
Smooth support.
So if you watched my last video, you'll kind of know about this segment, but basically in Dangerous Disruption, I look at a disruptive Pokemon from the latest set. So in this case, I looked at Mimikyu, I paired it with Magnezone. And then in Smooth Support, this segment, I look at a supportive Pokemon. So the way I build decks, I build around a disruptive Pokemon, so Mimikyu, and then I add a support Pokemon to help support that Pokemon. So in this case, Gardevoir, and we'll plan to see how I do that specifically, but basically I am looking to build primarily so the disruptive Pokemon is slowing my opponents down, and then the supporter either helps with damage or, like Suicune. I consider, if you have looked at my old stuff, Suicune a disruptor, and then Greninja pairs really well with it because it can ping from the bench, it can fill its bench requirement, the big Greninja is a good finisher, there's a lot of good synergy, and so they support Suicune really well, hence smooth support. So in this case, Gardevoir supports Mimikyu very well because of the energy generation and the finishing. And so there you have it. If that makes sense, great. If not, feel free to ask questions. Let's look at the deck. All right, check this thing out. So there's probably going to be a few choices in here that will immediately make some people scratch their heads. But hey, if there's nothing else I'm known for, it's, at least in the flesh and blood world in my past, it's for making some off-meta decisions that most people would not make. But that's how I like to do things. I'm not trying to be different. It's just the way that I think. So let's go through this list. We have Mimikyu, two of them, of course. This is the disruptive Pokemon being supported by Gardevoir, which we looked at a couple of days ago with Magnezone. Ralts, this is the first one that could cause some questions. I am not running the teleport one, and I am also, which honestly, I don't think really makes sense in this deck. Like, you kind of, in some sense, want both Gardevoirs up front, especially the smaller one, because they're passing energy back. And Mega Gardevoir, sometimes you want on the bench to be a closer, but it also passes energy, so it's not often a bad idea to have it up front. Now, they did put out the routes in this last set, that confuses your opponent, so I'm guessing that some decks are running that one. I would prefer to just do damage, so that's just me, but you can do what you want. All right, and now we have one of the non-Mega Gardevoirs and one of the Mega Gardevoirs. So the non-Mega Gardevoir is largely so I can beat Oricorio. I don't prefer the genetic Apex Gardevoir because, long story short, mathematically, I consider it worse than this Gardevoir. Now, it does have a strength that this Gardevoir does not have, and that it can generate energy, to the active from the bench, which is strong. However, if you need it for attacking occasionally, it's just strictly worse by all accounts. It has one more retreat, 20 less HP, and one more cost for its attack, though it does generate an energy to itself. So I prefer this one. I think it's just better, but you could argue the other one. It has its uses for sure. Some people might be wondering, well, why not just play two Mega Gardevoirs and one basic Gardevoir to, just for the Oricorio, but so you can have more strength. I don't like feeling like I'm wasting cards. And I know, like in Suicune, for example, they are usually running, say, two of the base Greninja and one of the EX Greninja, and I get it because you're trying to, account for different matchups, but I prefer to feel like I can use every single card in my deck and not have just a floating Pokemon in my hand. That's how I like to play. It makes me comfortable. It makes me happy. So that's how I like to do it. So that's why I'm running one of each. So yeah, there's that. I don't really need to comment on Mega Gardevoir. It's just really good. It pairs well with Mimikyu because Mimikyu can either tank on the active and do a little damage, and then Gardevoir can come in and finish the game, the Mega. Or if you have base Gardevoir in front at first, it can just put energy back to your bench, which is good for both Mimikyu and Gardevoir. And lastly, if you start with Mega Gardevoir, as long as they don't do too much damage and have a Cyrus, or you don't get your Diantha or whatever, then you can just pass energies back and kind of switch out pretty easily if you get your Mimikyus online. So All in all, I would say this deck is pretty flexible. Haven't really played it a ton yet, but conceptually it's very flexible. We have 2 Pokeballs, we have 2 rare candies. We're not running Curlia, the middle evolution. Now here's another spot where I have to again talk about what could be contentious. I'm running 2 X speeds, which I have said, if you're unfamiliar, is a card I really like in my decks because it helps me cycle back and forth as quickly as possible. To which, if you're familiar with the latest set, you might be like, well, Ryan, just run Peculiar Plaza. Why not run that? And it's a good point. It's a fair point. I am not sold on this yet, but basically I can't stand playing cards. I really don't like playing cards that could benefit my opponent. For example, the other 2 stadiums that buff all basics by 20 HP or buff all stage 1 damage by +10. I don't like that because I can't stand giving my opponent an edge or a benefit. That's why I play disruptive cards, because I like to just bother my opponent and give them not only no advantage, but less advantage. So that's my preferred way of playing. Now, with Peculiar Plaza, here's the thing. You could argue it's really never giving your opponent advantage, because if you're not playing a Psychic deck against a Psychic deck, then it's doing your opponent literally no good. And if you are playing against a Psychic deck, there's a decent chance that either A, they don't really care about needing the energy to retreat for free anyway, because they might already have the energy they need to retreat, or B, and probably more likely at this point, they're already running their own Peculiar Plaza. So, you know, if you play it, they were going to play it anyway, or maybe they'll play it first or whatever. So I think there's a very good argument in this deck that you should play Peculiar Plaza, but I'm still not sold, because there is a world, and this is going to sound crazy to some people, but there's a world in which I play it against a Psychic deck and it could win them the game, or it could benefit them in a way that I won't like. And so you could say, and probably reasonably, well, that's not enough reason to not play it, just because you might lose 1 out of 10 games for playing it, or 1 out of 20 or whatever, 1 out of 50, I don't know. But there's a world in which I put it down and it helps me, but it also helps my opponent in such a way. Say they're playing Mega Gardevoir or Altaria, which are not uncommon decks. I mean, Altaria was probably the most played Pokemon, I think, statistically, competitively in the game last season, and it probably will still see play. And plus you have Indeedee, you have Giratina running around now, you have Gardevoir, so running into Psychic Mirrors is probably not that uncommon. And there's a world in which either they are running it, but I put mine out first, and so they benefit automatically from not finding theirs because I put mine out first, or they're just potentially not even running it and I put it out and it benefits them. So I know that's probably like a small chance, but well, I'll apply this to, I also don't run Mars and Red Card for the same reason. I tried them for a while, but basically I have won games before as a recipient of Red Card and Mars because I had nothing in my hand, and though they shrunk my hand, I drew into the cards that I needed because they changed my hand. And so yes, that's not as likely as messing your opponent up, but because there is a non-zero chance of benefiting my opponent if I Red Card or Mars them, that's why I don't run them, because I literally don't want to play cards that could benefit my opponent. And Peculiar Plaza, though it's very small chance probably, is one of those cards. There is a world in which I could lose the game because I gave my opponent free retreat on their Psychic Pokemon. Now, again, I may determine that is a small enough chance to be negligible depending on what, the decks I'm running into. And if all the Psychic decks are running it anyway and whatever, then maybe I'll be like, you know what, this is probably worth running. But all that to say, X speed is still very good. It's an item, so you can burn it if you need to. This deck is generally going to have a lot of energy regardless because of the 2 Gardevoirs. And so all that to say, I want to go X speed for now because of my philosophy, and because X speed is still a really strong card, and because this deck generally is not going to lack energy. But that card specifically is subject to more thought on or I could do, 1 X speed and 1 Peculiar Plaza, whatever. So subject to more thought, but that's where I stand. All right, moving on, we have Copycat. I've said this, I have Copycat 2 ofs in every deck. It's just really good. Cyrus, I have 1 of in every deck. Diantha, I have 1. for a couple of reasons. Number one, I only have one Mega Gardevoir. I don't really expect to use it on the other Pokemon in this deck really at all, the base Gardevoir or Mimikyu. It's pretty much expressly for Gardevoir, though it could see use potentially on the other ones, but I think those would be niche scenarios. That's the first reason I'm only running one. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the main reason. Like, I just think it would be redundant to have two. You know, it could win the game sometimes, but Cape can also, and Cape is for basically everything else. The way I've explained it in my head is Diantha is for Mega Gardevoir and the Cape is for everything else. It's for the base Gardevoir and Mimikyu and occasionally routes. So I think I'm basically running that Cape in place of a second Diantha. I also really, this is another heuristic, I'll say this briefly, but I really don't like running cards that hurt me. So just like I don't like running Peculiar Plaza because it could hurt me because of my opponent could have advantage, Diantha is another card where it literally hurts you because it takes away 2 energy from the opponent you healed from. However, the only reason I'm okay running it is because of mostly Mega Gardevoir's ability, because yes, it discards 2, but Mega Gardevoir gains 3. So I think in general, it's just going to be a net positive for me with the card. So I am okay with running a card that it will probably almost never be detrimental to me. At worst, it might just be a dead card in my hand, but because of Gardevoir and base Gardevoir's abilities, I think it's worth running one of them. It could win me the game sometimes. Moving on, we have 2 Professor, 1 Sabrina, because I have those in every deck as well, and then 1 Cape. I have a Cape in pretty much every deck. I already explained it, so that was a long explanation, but I figured if competitive players are watching this, they might have questions, so just wanted to delve in. But now, without further ado, let's play some games. All right, so again, if you didn't watch my last video, they have now split up casual play into 3 segments. You have beginner, casual, and competitive, so I am planning to play in competitive. The ranked season does not start until February 11th, and this video is planning to come out on February 7th, and I'm recording it on February 1st. So, let's play some games. This deck is called Mega Mimicry. And I forgot to say the name of my Magnezone Mimikyu deck. It's called Magnanimous Mimic. But I should have put that in the last video. All right, let's play. We'll see if I need to tweak anything here. Oh my goodness, I don't have the deck image up. Hold on. Boom, there we go. I think the audio is still working. All right, we start with routes. We'll start with the other one. Boom, we have X speeds. Okay, they have Meloetta. They're probably also on Gardevoir. Probably not on my version, but they're also on Gardevoir. So we would like to find, okay, they find their routes. They're on the Confuse one, which you would kind of expect. I'm expecting most people to run the Confuse one. I just prefer the damage. You could argue the Confuse one. I just like the sure thing. All right, that's useful. Let's go. I'm going to burn both of these because we're just going to go for it. We're going to send it. If I find Mimikyu, I'll probably put it out. Probably. Because I'm getting what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 card bonus here. Okay, that's, yeah. And we get Mimikyu. Let's go. I could also just go into Gardevoir. Okay, so do I just go into Gardevoir? I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just send it. You know, I could draw Sabrina and just win the game. Now, if they have their own Gardevoir, then that's tough. You know, this could be a misplay. Oh, and they have a teleport one. Nice. Yep, they were a candy. Now, honestly, if I find the baby Gardevoir, then I'll probably just go into that. I do have a Professor, so there's an okay chance that I find the baby Gardevoir. I'm sure they're on Diantha. They're accepting Meloetta. Okay, so, okay. Okay, here we go. All right, let's think. We get Mimikyu. Boom. All right, we get Mimikyu. Okay, this Gardevoir is clutch. We're going to go into Baby Gardevoir because it's functionally doing the same thing as Big Gardevoir. We're going to go here. Boom. We're going to go here. Boom. I kill because of that. Routes 10 damage. There you go. Take that. All right, we're going to go We're gonna go here. We're gonna go on Mimikyu. So listen, I know you could confuse your opponents, but I just killed that Meloetta because of the 10 damage from routes. So just keep that in mind. All right, they're going into the big one. Of course they are. I think I probably just retreat into Mimikyu, to be honest, because I kind of have them in a bit of a bind at this point. Because yeah, they have Diantha, but so do I. They Sabrina, I mean, there's no reason to take a kill, so we'll go here. But that probably means I'm going back into my other Gardevoir. Okay, they have Mewtwo. That, I mean, not a huge issue. Sabrina's not doing anything for me at this point. Yeah, so they have Diantha. That's great. All right, so we're gonna go here, obviously. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go here. I don't even know what I have left in my deck. Yep, okay, we're gonna go here. We're gonna retreat into here. And then we're going to go... I think we'll go here and attack for 60, and then we'll just put on the other Mimikyu. Just to keep the good times rolling. Make it as hard for them to kill me as possible. They probably won't use Diantha yet if they have it, because I haven't done 90 damage. And they have Mewtwo online, but honestly I'm not super afraid of the Mewtwo, because if they bring it in, then... And I still have a disguise on Mimikyu. Mimikyu's really good, and this is where Gardevoir is a really good support here. Because I can just retreat. Alright, we're sitting on the... Let's see. We don't need... I think we'll just use Copycat to burn it. You could argue keeping Copycat in your deck here in case they like red card me or something, but they're probably not running it, and even if they are... Also, see, here's an example. If they put Peculiar Plaza out here, that's really helping me out a lot. So I'm gonna go energy... I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna retreat into this. I'm gonna put an energy... I mean, I could heal this Gardevoir. No, yeah, I could heal this Gardevoir. I don't think I want to do that, though. I think we'll go on this Mimikyu. We're gonna save our cape. So, yeah, they have 70 on their little baby and Didi over here, so that's a bit obnoxious. I'm sure they have Diantha. They're probably using it this turn, or else they just die. Yep. As you would expect. Discard, put an energy, hit the Mimikyu. Peculiar Plaza, thank you. See, and that's part of the reason I don't need to feel like I need to run it either, because they're just gonna do it for me. So I'm like, thanks, appreciate that. All right, now we go into, now we just retreat into our big Gardevoir. And it does 150. Let me think. I guess it's too late now. It does 150. So we're gonna go here, here, and here. I wonder if this is a mistake. It's possible this was a mistake. I'm still learning this deck, so it's possible that was a mistake, but we'll see if they have another Diantha, because that's all that saves them. Because they might go into Mewtwo. Yep. That could have been a mistake. We'll see. We'll see. Because they do 150. But then they only... No, they have to put their energy on Mewtwo, and then they have to have a Cyrus next turn. I probably should have just attacked with Mimikyu, to be honest. Okay, they put their energy on Mewtwo. That's clutch. I think we're good, because I'm going to go... Okay, let's think. We're going to go... Diantha. I go to one... Actually, I could just attack because I'm at 150. Yeah, we'll just attack. So we'll go here just in case they have like a red or something. I didn't do the math. So we're probably still okay. Because we go here, boom, attack. And then we have Cyrus next turn to finish off the game. They're out of Diantha, so I don't see how they're... I mean, we'll just put it there because why not? Just spread our friends. I should have done the math first before the Mewtwo attacked and realized I could live 2 turns. They have to have No, yeah, they just lose. Because they would have to have a red plus energy generation. So that should be game if they attack. I still potentially should not have gone into the Gardevoir that early, because this is actually the first time I've played with a Mega. So I understand that they're worth 3 points and I lose the game if they die, but you also want to attack with them at the same time. So I think you could argue that I came out too early with Gardevoir there, and I should have just eaten a Mimikyu death or something. But at the end of the day, we're getting a dub, and without losing a point. So, you know, can't complain about that. So, yeah, I potentially probably should have just waited, but that's okay. I wish they didn't make you put all that energy when you win the game. It's kind of an annoying feature. Yeah, so again, to the Peculiar Plaza point, I think the fact that they had it, and probably most Psychic decks are going to have it anyway, I'm like, so I have Peculiar Plaza, and then I can literally just burn X speeds and get them out of my deck for, you know, the sake of copycat or them copycatting or whatever. So there you go. It's a good game. Probably misplayed with the Gardevoir, but a solid game. Good first win. Mimikyu is just really strong. It's really strong. I did like their base in DD. I think that's not a bad card to pair with it because it can just snipe the bench for 70. So it's not a bad pairing for sure. All right, we're gonna start Mimikyu. I think that's the logical place to start. You could argue I shouldn't have done that. But, all right, we're playing Fire. Entei, of course, which Charmander, okay? I think I prefer that over Blaziken, probably. Are we gonna go routes? We're gonna go... Yeah, we'll go Pokeball. I'm trying to think if I want to routes or Mimikyu more. So we'll just do that. X speed, K. We'll go here. Oh, I already used Professor. Okay, never mind. I blanked on... I was like, oh, I could copycat. I already used Professor. Alright, Entei, the Professor, Pokeball, of course. You get... I don't know. I think you generally want to start with the Mimikyu because I can finish games pretty effectively with the Gardevoir, so this is probably for the best. And Mimikyu is helping me get an additional turn here, so I think we'll go here. I think this is a copycat turn. I'm a bit hesitant to use my X speed, but all right, so where do I want the cape? You can do 60 Charizard. I mean, if they get Charizard, I just die. So 60, 120. I think we'll just put it there. I'm only doing this because I want to get max cards with copycat. There's a world in which you should just not cape there because I like to know where my cape is most useful, and I don't know if this is the most useful. So that's okay. We got route. We got another X speed, that's good. We're down to 6 cards already, so that's quick. Or Mimikyu, I mean. Yeah, we're in a good spot. The Sabrina could be clutch. Sabrina is especially useful against EX cards, I think. Because if I can take down this Entei, I'm basically up on energy now with this Entei because it's got to waste an attack into me. And then I can just hit it for 70, and unless it heals or capes or something, then I'm already, you know, I'm ahead of the curve because now I have the first attack off, basically. So, and this cape could save me potentially because then I don't just die to it doing 120. So this is probably a good cape because next turn it could attack me for 120. So yeah, I think a good cape all around. I think Sabrina might be crucial potentially in this game. All right, they have a ton of cards. We're gonna go there. We're not Sabrina because we want to take this Entei down if at all possible. All right, we're gonna go ahead and go into a little base. I probably won't use this, but we're gonna go ahead and do it. We're gonna save that X speed. I might want it. I wish I had one more energy. I might just have to let this Mimikyu go down, unfortunately. I wish I had one more energy. Oh, they have GA Charizard. Nice. I do have Copycat, so that's helpful. I was expecting the big boy, but maybe the big boy's coming. All right, so they're gonna just let me go down, and then I should go down too. The question is, where do I put my energy? How many cards do they have? 7. I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're just gonna copycat. Now the question is, do I put the energy on Big Gardevoir or Mimikyu? I think we put it on Big Gardevoir. So we're gonna go here. We're gonna go here. I think because it is doing more damage and we just want the Mega to finish, I think we'll go ahead and go here, and then whatever they put in, unless it's the Mega Charizard, because there's a world in which, yeah, I'm guessing this this Charizard over here, this Charmander, is probably going to be the Mega Charizard. But if they're putting in Moltres, then they can't kill me anyway, so that's interesting. Mega Charizard is the great killer of EX Pokemon, so I need to be really... I'm surprised that they went into this Moltres, because that basically gives me a free win, in theory, in 2 turns. Because it can't kill my Mimikyu, so I can do 70 damage, and then I have Cyrus and 110 damage on board with Gardevoir, so not really sure what their thought process is here. Unless they are just searching for something, but they have 3 cards left in their deck. They're going on the big Charizard. That just doesn't... I could Diantha here, but there's no point. We're going to go energy here. I don't need Sabrina for any discernible purpose. Should I X-Speed? I think I'll go ahead and waste my X-Speed just to make sure I have Cyrus. And then we'll go here. And then unless they do something crazy, next turn the game is over because I have Cyrus. They're not healing over 70, I doubt, unless they have like a lucky pop and, you know, whatever. I don't know. Because even if they Sabrina here, I just give them my base Gardevoir. So, actually I could just give him, I'd probably just give him Mimikyu actually. Flame Patch does not help you at all. If they swing, they lose, which is kind of what we're expecting. Yeah, good game. Good game. And then it does, I mean, it can't even kill Gardevoir anyway unless it has a red, you know? So I really like this flare on Gardevoir. It's really cool. All right, we Cyrus. And we say GG. Good night. Boom, boom, boom. Wish it didn't make me do that when I win or lose or win. I guess you couldn't if you lose. All right, that's a good game. You know, it's pretty, what's the word? Comprehensive. We go again. Haven't lost yet, but I like to show a good loss, you know, to show that, you know, I'm human and be relatable. I think it's good to include losses, you know, and wins. Just, you know, more wins because we like wins, but a loss every now and again. I like to try and include at least one in video because it helps, you know, show realism. So I think it's helpful. All right, Lightning, so we're on Jolteon. So this is largely probably going to depend on what is drawn at the beginning of the game. If they get a Jolteon quick, that's going to be tough. If they get a Zera, that could be tough. They don't get a Zera yet. Do they have the Jolteon? They might. Are these Eevee things the new? I think these might be premium. Ori's a little concerning, but it's not that concerning again because of the Gardevoir, so I think we're okay there. It depends what we draw. All right, we're definitely going Professor. Hey, I said in the other video, but I finally managed to pull another Professor. I was really thankful that the game, you know, gave that to me. So, the game. Yeah. Really glad to have gotten that card. All right, we're not going to attack because there's no point. I mean, you could argue there's a point, but I think too, yeah, the double Ori. Okay, that's curious that they put the energy there and attacked, because if I draw anything this turn, which I haven't yet, but if I do, Well, I would have to get a... I mean, I could Sabrina. I think we'll save the Sabrina. If I happen to get a rare candy and a Gardevoir. Yeah, I mean, okay, so we'll X speed here. We need the, we'll probably save that for Mega Gardevoir. We need the base Gardevoir for, the what's it called? The Oris. But if they give me a Jolteon EX, then I only have to take down one Ori. There's the Jolteon EX. Okay, so this Rocky Helmet is actually crucial unless I can draw my, my Giant Cape. This Rocky, that's annoying also. No, wait, okay, never mind. I have a disguise, and I wonder either my opponent is new or they didn't know that because... Yeah, okay, and I get the cape. That's massive. They just totally wasted their red, and they're either kicking themselves or something, because that was just a giant waste of a red. And now I live, unless they have another one. If they do, congrats, but that could cost them. I'm not too concerned for Ori anymore, because if I can kill this Jolteon, we're in a really good spot. And taking down one Ori with the base Gardevoir should be pretty easy. And also Diantha is very good with, please don't get two, thank you. Diantha is very good with the base Gardevoir with Ori specifically. So if they take me down here, well, but then I would take myself. Okay, they're retreating, that's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, this is an obvious Cyrus. This is an obvious Cyrus. And that's probably game. Probably. We'll see. But... Alright, they get that energy there. I wonder if I should have waited on that energy. I need my base Gardevoir because I literally can't damage them now unless... I get base Gardevoir. So, but I am surviving for a little while. Honestly, I would just Sabrina here though, because then they'd either waste an energy. Copycat's good for me because now I can, again, I said this I think on the other video, but now I can get my hand bigger, which is helpful. Have I used, yeah, both professors. Okay, they get the Jolteon. I mean, they're definitely going into Ori. I'm planning to use Sabrina. Well, ooh, Zera. Okay. No, I can't use Copycat anymore. I think we have to Sabrina. They're probably going to give me Ori. I don't know why they wouldn't. Oh. Sure, why not? All right, I mean, we'll just... I don't need another energy. There's no point. I'll just do damage to myself. I mean, I don't know why they just gave me Jolteon, but sure. I did use my Cyrus already, but I'm not upset about that. And now Jolteon is functionally in a pretty tough spot because I assume it's just going to retreat, right? Yeah, it has to. Now, I'm in a bit of a tight spot because they're about to take 2 points and I have literally nothing. So I kind of it's entirely possible that I lose this game just because I have no follow-up here. So we'll see. If I get little Gardevoir, we're in a pretty good spot. Okay. Okay, top deck, let's go. All right, so we're gonna go here. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go here. And here, just in case they decide to go into Jolteon, we can give them something to be scared about. Mimikyu, just in case. We would like our rare candy, please, soon. We'll go here. They cannot swing with Ori. We'll go here. I mean, if they come in with Jolteon, they're running the risk of me just top decking my Gardevoir, and then they just lose. So I'm not sure what Okay. Yeah, good game. Good game. That's tough. It wouldn't have mattered because my other... Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have put the energy on that. I mean, that was a good game. Kind of complex. I probably made mistakes there. I think Ori, I wasn't too concerned about the Ori, especially since I got the Gardevoir. I got the Gardevoir really late, though. It would have been really nice to have it earlier. So I wonder, I probably should have just put an energy on one of my routes, maybe, so they couldn't Cyrus at the end there. I pretty much had to put the cape on the Mimikyu, I think, at the beginning, because if they had taken the line where they just hit it, then I would have been at 20. And so anyway, that was a good game. It was a good game. But let's head to the outro. All right, a few good games there, nothing crazy. I'm trying to go a little shorter gameplay videos, both for my editing, since I'm going to 2 videos a week now, and just because, you know, this isn't all I do. And a lot of people probably don't want to see super long gameplay videos. Some might, right? And like what's his name? Mega Magwe, or I don't know how to say his name, but like he just does gameplay, or like Zatumi or Godsley Spraggles, they do a lot. So, you know, they might, a couple of them do a few longer videos, like especially Mega Magwe. I still don't know how to say his name. 30 seconds later. He does a lot of longer ones, but he has a really, you know, easy to follow personality, and that's all he's doing is just deck building and making spicy stuff. So I'm gonna try and keep these short. Feel free to let me know if you want them longer, but I'm gonna try to keep them short because of the 2 a week and because I do other things on the channel. So anyway, I think this deck is good. I think it's got, you know, you could argue Peculiar Plaza, you could argue a couple of different things in this deck, but I think it's a solid deck that these few games showcased a little bit. So anyway, feel free to let me know what you're building in the set, what you're enjoying, and yeah, have a good afternoon, a good morning, or a good evening. See ya.